My friends, today I'd like to do something a little bit different. I would like to quickly go over the very important topic of playing fast and virtuosity together with you. As you know, pretty much since day one there's a big debate going on between playing slow and with feeling and playing fast and virtuosic stuff. People who gravitate towards the slower, more bluesy stuff, lots of bends and all that, often argue that fast and virtuosic players don't play with feeling, while players with more accomplished technique argue that those players always work with the same old boring pentatonic licks and so on. I definitely don't want to start a war with this video. As you know, I'm personally excited about every single aspect of guitar playing pretty much. My personal goal with this video is giving you a little bit of a different view on fast and virtuosic playing. Because when people think about fast playing or shredding, they mostly refer to just playing scales up or down. And of course that can get repetitive over time if that's the only thing you're doing in your guitar solos. So to hopefully convince you that fast and virtuosic guitar playing can also be creative and interesting, I prepared 4 killer licks for you in this video that you can steal. Each of these licks has a completely different focus and they will hopefully convince you that playing fast and virtuosic can also sound cool and creative. So check out lick number 1. So for this one we're starting out simple, in the very common sound of A minor that you're probably familiar with. But instead of just playing the A minor scale up and down as fast as possible, I'm working with a cool hammer-on pull-off pattern around the notes A, B and C right here, 5th, 7th and 8th fret. It's simple, but even an easy pattern like this can spice things up a bit, where you don't just go from the lowest to the highest or highest to the lowest note. So I'm starting out with the highest note, go to the lowest note of the phrase and then ascend. And then what I want to do is break out of this very common scale position and reach higher sections on the neck. And an easy way of doing this, instead of stretching all the way up to here, is of course by tapping. And once again, instead of boring repetitive tapping phrases, I'm simply treating my tapping hand as an extension of my fretting hand while I'm visualizing the scale in the position from the 12th to the 15th fret up here. So each tap is just another note in the scale for me that I would play with alternate picking if they weren't this far apart. And this simple tapping approach allows me to play notes completely outside of the common scale box, to increase the space in between my notes and to make the lick more interesting. And I'm also ending it in a cool way. So I'm further breaking out of the scale box by sliding with my fingers into the next positions. I'm using a downstroke for that on the G string and hybrid picking, so I'm plucking with my middle finger on the B string for a more fluid sound. So I'm not attacking both strings with downstrokes. To get a more fluid sound like here, I'm playing downstroke and finger pluck. That allows me to nicely connect those slides, but we're just getting started with this lick. With the next lick I want to get more into the classic shredding territory of fast alternate picking through scales, but in a really interesting way. Check it out. Okay, so now we're definitely in the shred zone with those fast alternate picked notes, but once again I'm not just playing the scale up or down here, which is the very interesting sounding Phrygian dominant or Spanish Phrygian scale, by the way. I'm starting with an ascending run in 16th note triplets. But that's it. I kind of break off the run right here after just 6 16th note triplets. And I switch to 16th notes to make it rhythmically interesting. So 4 16th notes after that. And that's kind of my rhythmic theme with this phrase, because it's repeating exactly like this in the next half of the measure. But this time I'm playing a descending 16th note triplet lick. So that makes it more interesting. Ascending 16th note triplet lick, then to the 16th notes, then a descending 16th note triplet lick, and I'm ascending in 16th notes after that. So here's the entire first measure for you. That's really cool rhythmically on one hand, because I'm switching between the triplets and 16th notes, but I'm also carefully thinking about ascending and descending in the scale so that it doesn't sound too repetitive. And for the end I have this really cool pedal note approach. So I'm always staying on E right here on the 17th fret on the B string, and on the 16th note offbeats I'm playing different ascending notes in the scale until I end up here on my final note on A, which is a kind of cool resolution for the lick at the end. My friend, chances are that when you try to play fast alternate picking licks like this, you get a lot of unwanted string noise, you feel like you're kind of trapped in between the strings, or you simply can't speed up your picking hand movement or fretting hand movement, or worst of all, you can't correctly synchronize those movements together. So if you finally want to be able to play cool and interesting sounding shred licks like this one, I highly suggest downloading my new guitar speed builder course on Patreon, and I wanted to quickly show you how it looks inside. So when you're logged into my Guitar Academy as my student on Patreon, you can just go to Collections, then to Patreon online courses, and right here you can already see the 30-day Guitar Speed Builder course. It says get access to the full program here, so when you click the link in the post you get the full 30-day practice plan that starts like this. So for day 1 to 5 you get your backing tracks to practice with, your play along videos so that you can practice together with me, and we're starting out really slow at first. Check out the first exercise. Of course, you also get your PDF tab sheets of the exercises, an instructional video explaining all of the exercises in detail, and a guitar profile as well, so that you can change the tempo or even change the exercises to your liking. And new students that sign up this week also get my full guitar technique masterclass as an exclusive download in their welcome notes. So right now is the best time ever to become my student on Patreon. Just click the link down below, patreon.com/Bernd, become my student for real today. I can't wait to meet you inside. But now let me show you another really awesome lick. Now this lick is really exciting because there are a lot of quote-unquote wrong notes in there. You might have heard about outside playing, which means including notes in your licks that are not part of the scale and technically completely wrong, but they get you this really cool fusion-like sound. So this lick is simply based around the B minor scale, but I'm ornamenting a lot of the notes with surrounding chromatic notes that are not part of the scale. So the first note I'm ornamenting is simply the root note B on the 7th fret on the high E string, but I'm playing two notes that are not part of the B minor scale, the note below the root note and the one above it, just semitones away from the root note. But since this is clearly the harmonic center in this lick, I'm getting away with including those wrong notes because I'm starting and also returning to the root note. Then a straightforward pull-off phrase starting with an upstroke. This one is in the B minor scale, so no crazy notes yet, just a really cool pull-off lick. But then you have that crazy phrase on the G string with a lot of outside notes. So all just one picking stroke on the G string, all the rest of the notes are hammered on or pulled off. And once again, since you can hear that I'm ornamenting notes that are actually in the scale and I'm not just playing completely random notes across the neck, this still actually works and the ears of your listener will forgive you for playing all of these wrong notes. And to end this lick in an interesting way, I'm playing hybrid picking once again to skip a string in between. So I'm playing on the D string and on the B string I'm plucking with my middle finger. And that's quite interesting when it comes to the sound, because once again I'm not playing notes that are next to each other. There's a lot of room in between those two notes, and you don't really tend to hear that this much. And to end things today with a true highlight, I have one for the Neoclassical fans. This one's a really cool arpeggio lick that's not just playing the arpeggio up and down, and it's also not played with sweep picking, which makes it a really interesting lick and one of my favorites of today. Check it out. Alright, so this really cool sounding lick is based on one of my favorite phrasing tricks when it comes to playing fast, and that's mixing different techniques or turning stereotypes on their head. So right here we're working with the very common minor shape for D minor, but instead of playing it with sweep picking, which is how it's usually played, I'm using alternate picking, and I'm actually not even starting the arpeggio right away. I'm starting right here by just alternate picking the first note of the arpeggio before I go into a descending phrase. Then I'm turning the direction around and then I'm descending again. And at the end I'm playing kind of a scale phrase actually, that you wouldn't associate with an arpeggio lick that much. So here's the entire thing played a bit slower. And then I'm moving this idea down to a major arpeggio for C major. I'm using a similar phrasing approach, I'm just ending differently. So at the end I'm skipping a lot of strings. The last note is played on the B string, but the note before is on the A string. So I have an upstroke on the A string and then I have to correctly hit the B string for the last note, which is quite challenging. Especially if you don't want any string noise in between. And when you play this with alternate picking only, it's a great precision workout for your picking technique, since you don't want to get stuck in between the strings. You can also only play it with a relaxed wrist motion. It does not work if your picking is very stiff and coming from the arm. So that one's a great technical workout as well, aside from sounding cool. Alright my friend, of course I also made a brand new practice package for you this week called the Pro Phrasing Bundle. With this one you can download the play along videos at slow and fast tempos, backing tracks, PDF tabs and guitar profiles for all of those really cool licks, so that you can officially steal them and incorporate them into your solos and playing. If you're having trouble speeding up any of those licks and you feel like you might have developed some bad habits with either your picking hand technique or fretting hand technique, as I mentioned, I highly recommend going through the speed building course I recently posted on Patreon. So claim your free guitar technique masterclass video by joining on Patreon this week. Click the link down below to see if we still have some spots available. Patreon.com/Bernd. Can't wait to welcome you inside my online guitar academy, but for now, have an amazing day. Greetings from LA and bye bye.